New York and USA red again. Remember to, despite I only mentioned this guy, we have a very important figure, the governor of New York. We need change, so we have to vote a Republican governor. So remember to cast that vote. Next, I'd like to introduce to you all here, no other than Mr. Paul King, the king of all kings, and the king of queens, and the king of New York State. Put your hands together, king of all kings, Mr. Paul King, PK.
Thank you. So my name's Paul King, and I want to represent you in Congress. Yeah. And like my friends here, I believe in the American dream. My grandfather is off the boat from Italy more than 100 years ago, worked hard to build a great life for our family. He had a fair shot, grew up in Brooklyn, got it done. And I'll always be grateful to that borough. But ladies and gentlemen, the home of the American dream is here in Queens, in Little Guyana. Immigrant communities renew America. When you come here, start businesses, own homes, build great communities, you need our support. That's what makes America great over the centuries, just not today. And we need to get that back. And as Paul was saying, and I'm sure Joe's going to say as well, is we're all about the American dream. It's too hard today when the government's working against you. It's hard to build your American dream when there's so much crime. You have to worry about your family. You have to worry about your kids getting attacked because of the color of their skin. If you're a businessman, you have to worry about people who are able to come into your store and just steal stuff and walk away because they know they're going to get away with it. That ends.
And then they lock you up on the shop owner.
Yeah, if you're the shop owner and you defend yourself, you're in jail. That ends. Working with these gentlemen, we're going to put an end to that. Inflation robs money from everyone, and you can't save money to buy a home, to start a business, if you're struggling to pay for food and energy, and it's going to be a bad winter for energy costs because of the Biden administration. Well, Joe and I are going to go down to Washington and change some things. We're going to get this back on track so you can afford to keep planning for the future. And the future belongs to our children. The public school systems here, we're lucky to have a few great public schools here, but on the whole, it's failing us. And the Democrats are focusing on pushing parents aside to indoctrinate your kids in different values than you have. We need them to have our values. We need them to learn the essential skills they need in life so that they can be the next great American generation. So I'm proud to work with these folks, and I make you a promise. This won't be the last time you see us. When we're in office, we'll be back here working with you. That's how problems get solved, working with people who live the life, who know the problems, not staying in some ivory tower, not staying in Washington and saying, well, I'm busy, I'm getting you money. No, we need to work with you, and I look forward to that, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm running against Gregory Meeks for Congressional District 5 here in Rockaway, here in Queens. I'm from Rockaway, and thank you again.
Put your hands together for Mr. Paul King. Remember, folks, when you go to the polling station and you see these names, there are pamphlets out there or literatures to sensitize and educate you who they are and what they're there for. So please take one and make use of it. Educate yourself. Oh, do me a favor. I want to acknowledge your presence here. Please come. Look at this young lady's hat. What it reads. Where are you from, Mama?
Originally from Colombia.
Colombiana, mucho cumbia, tiene mucho fiesta aquí. Ladies and gentlemen, mi hermana from Colombia, America. Put your hands together for her. What's your heart reads? Trump 2024. You see, the media and the opposition and the present government administration, they want to paint President Trump as a racist and the Republican as a racist. No, they are not. This is a living example to show the Republican and the president is not about race. Thank you, sister. Mucho gracias, mi hermana or mi mama. You could be my mama. Tiene mucho. Es bueno, mama.
Okay, bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, this young man, Mr. King, who just spoke, he's from Rockaway. And the only way you want your way to be rock, vote for him. He's gonna rock your way to victory, for betterment. So, Mr. King of all kings, put your hands together for me one more time. Thank you, mama. Next, I have a very important man next to me. He looks younger than me. And I would like to, Chris, allow me, let me do my business. Yeah. I have Mr. Joe Pinion. He will be running for U.S. Senator. Put your hands together for him, please. Mr. Joe, the floor is all yours. Put your hands together for this brother, please. This is how the Republican is very diverse, you see? We're not racist. We are very important people, are a party for each and every one. Mr. Joe Pinion, take it away from here, brother.
Well, it's good to be here with all of you at this historic corner. For those that don't know, I am Joe Pinion, the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate, running against Chuck Schumer, a man who has been down in D.C. for 42 years, has been in the United States Senate for 24 years, and I promise you our lives are not better off as a result. We live in a state where 1 out of 3 black children live in poverty. We live in a state where we have 65% of the students that look like me that cannot read at grade level. That is not a legacy of success. It is a legacy of failure, but more importantly, it is an abdication of responsibility. We are here because of the political circumstances, but I promise you, it is bigger than politics why we all chose to run. We are here to make a new covenant with this community. We are here to make a new pact with the people that call New York State home. That you should not have to flee your home to live your best American existence. I stand here before you, the first Caribbean American ever nominated for U.S. Senate in the history of New York State. I didn't run to make history, but it is certainly important that we note that fact, because perhaps the absence of people that look like us down in D.C. with the power that is given to those in the United States Senate is the reason why, when we call on people like Chuck Schumer to ensure there's enough baby formula on the shelves, the call goes unanswered.
He's an idiot.
Perhaps that is part of the reason why, when we look at what happened down in Haiti, where the president is assassinated with co-conspirators that live in Florida, people like Chuck Schumer say, I have no idea what happened. This is not an accident. We are living through failure by design, and the people that bear the brunt of that failure are the people that call communities like this home. Jamaican communities, Guyanese communities, Caribbean communities writ large have not received the America that was promised, because the people that like to bang on the table and say only they are willing to fight for us go down to D.C. with the power that we have given them and then use our promise as a bargaining chip to empower themselves, enrich their friends, and we have nothing left to show for ourselves but shattered dreams.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I'm here to make promises we intend to keep. That we're going to keep coming back here to this community.
As elected officials.
That we are going to promise to say that when you call us, we will answer the phone. You will not get a recording that says we are not taking calls at this time. Send an email, which is what happens often when you call Charles Ellis Schumer's office.
Oh, wow, sad.
We need people that prioritize your pain, but also prioritize your dreams. The dream of home ownership has become further and further away because the opportunity that is supposed to be given to homeowners has become a distant memory. When you look at the crime that has gripped this community, we start with the drugs that you can find almost on every single corner. Where do they come from? An open border that Chuck Schumer wants to keep open.
Right.
The fentanyl that now is the leading cause of death for anyone that lives 18 to 45 in this nation. That is abysmal, and you do nothing about it. It is bringing death to black, white, Hispanic, and everyone in between, Asians, everyone alike is dying because of this neglect. I can deal with the man who makes a mistake and admits it. I cannot deal with people who see a problem and want to pretend nothing is going wrong. And Chuck Schumer has been pretending that nothing is going wrong in our lives for 42 years. With your help on November 8th, we're going to make sure that he never has the power to ruin our lives ever again. So we are here for a rally, which means that we have to give some instructions. The instructions are clear. If your friends and your family members have not seen our debate against Chuck Schumer, encourage them to watch it, to get a clear side-by-side comparison, to hear from a man whose only ideas didn't work 20 years ago, and yet he keeps trying to implement them today. Hear from a man who says he loves us, but was also silent when they threatened our community with eviction in the midst of COVID if we didn't get vaccinated, threatened to throw our children out of school if they didn't get vaccinated, threatened to make sure we had no place in civil society if we did not do what they wanted us to do. That is not a message of hate. That is a message of contempt. And yet somehow they think with that contempt they show for us, we're still supposed to lie down, kneel down, and give them the purest thing we have to offer them, our vote and our voice. We're here to reclaim our voice. We're here to let everybody know that there are people like Michael Henry, people like Paul Rodriguez, people like Joe Pinion who are going to fight for this community with every breath that they have. My grandmother, the woman that put the Bible in my crib, the woman that put the fear of God in my spirit, she died alone at 100 years old in a nursing home. And we now know that this government of our state, this government of our nation, lied to us about the threat of COVID, lied to us about the dangers in those nursing homes, then used government resources to cover up that lie. That's not my opinion. That is a report that has been put in a report that's been put out by the comptroller of this state, Paul Rodriguez's opponent. Where's the investigation in Congress into what happened to my grandmother? Where is the investigation into the fact that the majority of the people that did the dying, disproportionately, in those nursing homes look like us? Turns out nobody cares, except when it's time for them to come show up and ask for your vote. So tell your friends, tell your neighbors, we are asking them to do something maybe they have never done before, maybe they thought they could never do. Go down to their local polling place and fill in a bubble next to a person who has an R next to their name. I'm not asking them to adopt the gospel of republicanism. I'm not asking them to change their party affiliation. I'm asking them to place their trust in my hands as I place my heart in yours and say together, we are going to build a better New York. We are going to restore the promise of America. We are going to make sure that the dream that brought my mother from the shores of Jamaica to the beacon of hope right here in New York,
Yes.
that promise is restored. So God bless you all. Thank you so much for coming out here. Spread the word that Guyana has a friend in Joe Pinion. Guyana has a friend in Michael Henry. Guyana has a friend in Paul Rodriguez. But more importantly, that this community, every New Yorker, have champions in those who place their needs, their promise, and their dreams over the politics that are ripping this nation apart and bringing us to our knees no more. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this young man here, who will be running as U.S. Senator, deserves our vote. For too long, Chuck Schumer took us for granted, or taken us for granted. Time for change, time for betterment. R for Republican, R for restored and rebuild. Put your vote together for Republican again, one more time. I didn't know this brother from Jamaica, man. Man, that's my youth. Respect you, brother.
Warwick Castle.
What is my youth?
Warwick Castle.
Boom, fire. Everybody.
You know, he's not the only Caribbean. I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm also in the Caribbean.
Oh, you from PR. Okay, you have some pizza beans and rice for you later, man.
Trying to keep us to the side.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's why you're close to my side. Ladies and gentlemen, ma'am, please come quickly. Come quickly. Rapido, por favor. This young lady here, having some papers, come, it's a newspaper. It says Queens County Beacons. On the Beacons paper, you see the A team. This is the A team that will take this state and this city and the country to a better direction. So please take a paper from her, please. Oh, she escribe article. Bueno, mama. So please support.